They both think they made the smart move. Jake walks into the dealership and drives out in a brand new $30,000 sedan for $2,000 down and $299 a month. Marcus walks into the same dealership, looks at the same car, and signs a 5-year loan at 6% with $3,000 down and a payment of $522 a month. Jake thinks he outsmarted the system. Marcus thinks he's building something real. They're both wrong, because the number that decides this isn't the monthly payment either one of them is staring at, and neither of them is going to feel the truth until years after the ink is dry. And when you run the actual numbers across 10 years, every dollar in and every dollar out, the gap between these two men isn't where you think it is, and it doesn't favor the guy you'd expect. Let's keep this fair, because that's the only way this means anything. Same car, $30,000 sedan, off the same lot, same trim, same day, same two men, same age, both pulling $55,000 a year before tax, same city, same insurance market, same gas prices, same everything. The only difference in this entire story is the piece of paper each one signed. Jake signed a 36-month lease, $2,000 due at signing, $299 a month for 3 years. Marcus signed a 60-month loan at 6% interest, $3,000 down, $522 a month for 5 years. That's it. That's the whole experiment. Everything else is identical, so when the numbers split, you'll know exactly what caused it. Now here's where your gut starts lying to you. On day 1, Jake looks like the genius. His payment is $223 a month lighter than Marcus's. That's real money. Over the first 3 years, Jake is keeping somewhere around $220 extra in his pocket every single month, while Marcus is bleeding it into a car loan. Jake's driving the same car, sitting in the same seats, and paying noticeably less to do it. Marcus, meanwhile, is what the industry quietly calls underwater. The second he drove off the lot, that $30,000 car became a roughly $24,000 car, and he still owes around $27,000 on it. He is, on paper, in the hole. So if you froze the story right here, on day 1, you'd hand the trophy to Jake and never think about it again. But feelings and math are two very different things, and the feeling that Jake is winning is exactly the feeling the dealership sold him along with the car. Let's walk it forward, because this is where it gets interesting. Year 3 arrives, and Jake's lease is up. He's spent $2,000 at signing plus 36 payments of $299, which lands his total cash out somewhere around $12,800 over those 3 years. And what does he own at the end of it? Nothing. He hands the keys back. The car was never his. So Jake does what almost every leaser does, the thing the whole model is built to make him do. He leases again. New car, new signing fee, new payment that's probably crept up to something like $329 or $349 a month because car prices don't move backward. Jake's back on the treadmill, and the treadmill never stops. Marcus at year 3 is still paying, still $522 a month, still grinding through that loan, and honestly, still looking like the sucker. By now, he's poured roughly $21,000 to $22,000 into the thing between his down payment and his payments. But here's what's happening underneath. The car is now actually worth more than he owes on it. He's crossed over. He has equity. It's quiet, and it's boring, and nobody at a party is impressed by it, but it's real. Then year 5 lands, and the whole thing tilts. Marcus makes his final payment. He's done. 60 payments of $522 plus $3,000 down puts his all-in cash at roughly $34,000 over 5 years for that car. And now he owns it outright, free and clear. It's a 5-year-old sedan worth somewhere around $11,000 to $13,000, and he owes nobody a dime. His car payment, starting in month 61, is 0. Jake, at year 5, is on his second lease, halfway through it, still paying every month. And he has spent by now somewhere in the neighborhood of $19,000 to $20,000 in lease payments and signing fees combined. And he owns exactly nothing. Same as the day he started. Same as he'll own at year 10. Same as he'll own at year 30 if he stays on this ride. So let's put up the scoreboard at year 6, because year 6 is where it stops being close. Marcus has now had a full year of 0 car payments. That $522 a month is back in his pocket every month, while he drives the car he already owns. Jake is still feeding the machine, still around 3-something a month, still owning nothing. From year 6 forward, Marcus isn't just ahead, he's pulling away, because one man has a paid-off asset and a free monthly cash flow, and the other man has a permanent bill. Run it all the way to year 10. Jake has been leasing continuously for a decade. 3, maybe 4 lease cycles, everyone with its signing fees and its rising payments. His total cash out across 10 years lands somewhere around $40,000 to $46,000. And I want to be honest about why that's a range and not a clean number, because it depends on how fast lease prices climbed and how many times he had to put money down at signing. And at the end of all of it, he owns nothing. 0. He hands back the last set of keys, and he's exactly where he was the day this started, except 10 years older. Marcus, across that same 10 years, spent roughly $34,000 on the loan, and then for the back half of the decade, he paid nothing for the car at all. Maybe he's still driving it at year 10, a 10-year-old sedan, worth $4,000 or $5,000, but still running. Maybe he sold it at year 7 for $9,000, and rolled that into a newer used car he paid cash for. Either way, his all-in number sits well below Jake's, and he has something to show for it. The gap between these two men over 10 years isn't a few $100s. It's somewhere in the range of $10,000 to $15,000, and it's all flowing toward the boring guy. But now, I have to stop the timeline and do the thing nobody selling you a car will do, because the monthly payment is the number everyone talks about. And what nobody talks about is everything that comes out of your pocket before and beyond that payment. Start with the lease, because the lease is where the hidden costs hide best. There's the mileage cap. Your typical lease gives you 10 to 15,000 miles a year, and the second you go over, you're paying somewhere between 15 and 25 cents for every extra mile. Drive 5,000 miles over your limit on a 3-year lease, and you can hand back the keys to a bill of $750 to $1,250 you never saw coming. Then there's wear and tear. That ding in the door, the curb rash on the rim, the stain on the seat, the tires worn past their spec. All of it gets inspected and charged back to you, and that can run anywhere from a few hundred to over 1,000, depending on how picky the inspector feels that day. There's the disposition fee, just for the privilege of returning the car, usually $300 to $500, buried in the contract you didn't read. And God help you if you need to get out early, because terminating a lease before term can cost you thousands, sometimes the entire remaining balance of payments all at once. None of that is in the $299 a month. None of it. Now, if I only showed you the downsides of leasing, I'd be doing exactly what every car finance influencer on the internet does, which is pick a side and beat the other one to death to feel right. So let me defend buying's ugly side honestly, because Marcus's path has real costs too, and pretending otherwise would make me a liar. The big one is maintenance after the warranty runs out. Marcus's factory warranty is gone somewhere around year 3 to 5, and from that point forward, every repair is his. Realistically, you're looking at $1,200 to $1,800 a year in maintenance and repairs on an aging car, and some years a transmission or an AC compressor or a set of struts spikes it way past that. Jake, on his perpetual lease, is almost always driving a car under warranty, which means his repair bill is close to nothing, just oil changes and wiper blades. That's a genuine advantage, and I won't wave it away. And yes, Marcus eats depreciation, real depreciation. That $30,000 car shedding value down to $24,000 in year 1 and on down from there. The one mercy is that depreciation slows down. It's brutal in the first 2 or 3 years, and then it flattens, so the longer Marcus holds, the less the depreciation stings on a per-year basis. The pain is front-loaded, and he's pushing through it to the calm on the other side. Jake never gets to the calm because he restarts the steepest part of the depreciation curve every single lease. There are also real situations where leasing genuinely wins, and I'd be cheating you not to lay them out plainly. If you're self-employed and you can legitimately write off the business use of the vehicle, the lease structure can hand you a cleaner, larger deduction, and that changes the math in your favor in a way it never does for a regular W-2 commuter. If you specifically want a luxury car and you only want it while it's under warranty, leasing lets you drive the new thing forever and dump every expensive repair back onto someone else right before it breaks. And there's a narrow but real case for the disciplined leaser. If you take the difference between your low lease payment and what the loan payment would have been, and you actually invest that difference every month, without fail, into something earning a real return, you can theoretically close some of the gap. But I have to be straight with you, almost nobody does that. The $200-some a month Jake saved early on didn't go into an index fund. It went into restaurants and a slightly nicer phone and a weekend trip. The disciplined leaser math only works for the person disciplined enough to never have leased emotionally in the first place, and that person is rare. So here's the real trap, and it's not leasing and it's not buying. The real trap is deciding how to acquire a $30,000 machine based on which monthly payment feels lighter in the moment, instead of running the full cost across the entire time you'll actually own or lease cars. Jake didn't choose leasing because he ran the 10-year numbers. He chose it because $299 sounded better than $522 on the day he was standing there wanting the car. Marcus didn't necessarily win because he's wiser. He won because the structure he picked happened to force him toward ownership and free cash flow on the back end, almost by accident. The trap is letting a number designed to look small on a single line of a contract make a decision that plays out over a decade of your life. Don't pick based on a YouTube headline. Don't pick based on what your brother-in-law swears by. And don't pick based on the payment. Pick based on the all-in number for your situation, your mileage, your discipline, and how long you actually keep a car. And if you're sitting there wondering what happens when you skip both of these guys entirely and just pay cash for the whole car on day 1, no payment, no interest, no lease, that's a completely different conversation. And the answer surprises almost everybody who assumes it's obviously the smartest move. Because the only number that ever matters is the one you get after everything, every fee, Every repair, every dollar of interest and opportunity cost, is finally on the table. Run that number, all of it, before you ever sign a thing.